Welcome to the Republican Professor. Today we have a very special guest. We have James A. Mather, my grandpa. James A. Mather was born in the 1920s in Caddo, Texas. He was raised in El Dorado, Kansas by his mother, single mother. His father was drunk and left. She raised four kids during the Great Depression. Grandpa Mather joined the Navy during World War II to fight the fascists. Grandpa Mather was as much an anti-fascist as an anti-communist. Um, he, after World War II, he was an officer, flew Hellcats and F4F Hellcats in the Navy. Um, After he got out of the Navy active duty, he married my grandmother. My grandmother had three kids by grandpa. One of them was my dad. And they raised their kids in Colorado Springs and then Littleton, Colorado, where I was born in Inglewood, right next door in Arapahoe County. So Grandpa in 1962 founded Mr. Steak Incorporated, eventually went on to have 286 restaurants in the United States and Canada, I believe, many in California, including some just a short distance from where I am now in North Orange County. Follow the Facebook page. I worked at a Mr. Steak restaurant, and you will see just part of Grandpa's incredible legacy in business. Um, so we have a special time on the Facebook Live, the LJM page, in 2020 during the lockdowns. And
That was 97.
this was on May 7th, Thursday, May 7th, 2020, 5:52 p.m. Facebook Live. The title that I put was I had just asked for prayer, unbeknownst to him, and my 97-year-old World War II veteran grandpa called out of the blue to see how I was doing. So it's got 506 views, lots of real people, not Russian bots, people, but real people, family and friends that reacted to this. And I'm just getting this documented, people. Um, just getting it documented for posterity because I don't know what will happen with technology coming into the future. There's 12 comments. I'm going to go ahead and start the video. Again, it's Thursday, May 7th, 2020 at 5:52 p.m.
Did you say 97?
97.
You do not look a day older than 96.
And 95, 6, 102. Well, thank you for that. I don't feel that way either.
That's good.
For the fact that I recognize, not that I ever had an excellent brain, but even trying to, if I hear a particular name that I know it's a familiar name of a friend,
Uh-huh.
what do they look like? Why do I remember them as a friend? So I said I have a little problem with not the brain because I've always had that problem, but it's amazing. So anyway,
I don't know. You sound pretty sharp for 97 to me.
yeah, I appreciate that. And if you could see where I'm sitting in the office, and like I told Brian, every place I look is clutter.
Well, that's all right.
And no, it really isn't.
It's called living, Grandpa.
I'm trying to think in terms of.
That's the age-old question.
I started in something that was me.
Yeah. Grandpa, you started this conversation with a song. the song. Do you remember the song you sang?
Okay, I'm pausing it just to get the counter in the bottom here. Okay.
Grandpa, could you started this conversation with a song. The song. Do you remember the song you sang?
Today that the
Yeah.
Lord has made.
Could you sing that just briefly one more time?
Okay.
This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord hath made. That the Lord hath made.
And be glad in it.
Glad in it.
It's the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is
the day that the Lord made.
Grandpa, the reason I asked you to repeat that song is because I had just asked for prayer just when you called. And as soon as I answered the phone, you started singing that song. Which is very characteristic of you to sing that song.
Yeah, didn't give you a chance to even answer the phone.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even say who it was. I guess you just assumed it would be me because it's my phone.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling healthy?
Well, I am. Except for my brain power.
Your brain power. I don't know
much of a brain power, but it's not like it used to be. But I do know this, that I exercise. Before I would go to 24 hours. Change that.
Yeah.
To that new one place is really great. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for an hour and a half working out, and now that's closed.
Okay.
So I've got a floor mat that's about for me, and also some mechanical steel things for exercise. So
steel things. You mean
times a week,
Grandpa? Do you mean weights, Grandpa? You mean the steel things or weights?
Like weights against muscles against muscles.
Oh, yeah.
It's not picking up, but it's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Rather than having the bars.
Gotcha.
This one thing is a bar. It's like bicycle handles. And then right next to the handle are two curved steel pieces that would be, if you're on your back, you have your hands on the handles, and then these pieces are on your legs.
Yeah.
And they're bent up, and you exercise from them.
It's body weight exercise?
Well, it's muscle against muscle.
Okay.
Like I say, it's not lifting weights. You're working against weights. It's against muscles. So
how often do you do that, Grandpa?
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
This morning.
97 years old.
Take my shower. And
well, that's good.
Come down and take a look at this office and become.
You should see my office. Heather's always complaining about it.
Start.
Yeah.
Amazing. But I did think I've got our grandsons and his little daughters that I've not contacted during this quiet period in the universe, and that I need to call and if everything's all right, and to reassure my loved ones that the Father is our Creator God, and He is the one that we should look to and expect the answers. So that's why I call it. I just want to make sure that I hadn't heard from any one of you.
Yeah. Well, the last time I saw you, Grandpa, was when I was giving that speech at the Republican Women's Club of Conejo Valley, uh, there in Newberry Park. Do you remember that?
I remember. Is that where you?
Yeah, that was in, well, I guess it was in Thousand Oaks. Yeah, it was in Thousand Oaks. So we met there, and that was the Friday before the governor issued the lockdown. And
I didn't remember that since when that happened.
yeah, that was those.
I've only been out of the house once.
Oh wow.
I went across the street where in the daytime,
Uh-huh.
where my neighbor has the chairs, those 6 or 8 feet apart, to where we can sit down and talk, and they're healthy, and so, and Linda's the one that goes with her mask and her gloves to shop, to bring the food home,
Okay.
and to prepare it for her husband.
Well, that's very nice of her.
There it is. I really, that's a great advantage.
Wow.
I've not been out of the house, but I've been, again, like I say, 3 times a week.
Exercising. Well, you've always been a steadfast source of encouragement for me. In fact, you're encouraging me to go exercise because I figure, geez, you're like you're a little older than I am, and I feel lazy now.
Just a little older.
Well, you're.
You know, if we can't go to the
I'm 20. I'm 27. How old did you say you were again?
Exercise at home.
Yeah, well, that's true. I went to 24-hour fitness right up until they kicked me out, and then I've been having to do everything.
I do 3 times a week, an hour and a half each time.
Now yeah.
All kinds of. I would say there must be at least 20 units in that an hour and a half that I worked out on it. And
yeah.
I'm grateful that I got tired of 24-hour fitness and the atmosphere wasn't good. I told them that
yeah.
new one.
It's dirty.
Let's go look for one. And right where she gets her hair cut was this gym, Ocean
Planet Fitness, right?
Fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
And we walked in there, and I looked at that thing. My golly, all of the equipment, beautiful, what I'm trying to say.
They clean it. They clean it.
Brown out loud. That's
You're saying they clean the equipment. Yeah.
They have 2 rooms, one where you can sit in the chair and it has it's vibrating your back and legs and
oh yeah.
And the other one
sounds good.
Another room is where you lie down on it and there's a water power underneath that's exercising the body.
Okay.
But they have good night.
Good night.
The layout they have on their machines is just amazing. And so that's where I was going to when Linda walked in. She had never been in a gym or joined a gym.
Right, yeah.
And she went in with me, and she was as impressed as I was.
Yeah.
And she turned around to the person and said, I want to join too. Every time I've gone now,
well,
it's been right there.
Great.
And so she's been the same opportunity for exercise as I have, and I think that's good.
Yeah, that's great. Your name is Jim, so I guess that makes sense for you to join a gym.
It's spelled a little differently.
Spelled a little differently. They spell it wrong. But well, it sounds like you have a lot of energy.
Well, I don't feel I don't have nerves. I don't feel tired or anything along that line.
Yeah.
And I Linda and I get a lot of reading together.
Laying off the whiskey.
And from even the media.
Yeah.
And for some tapes that we listen to every morning after our meal and our prayer there. So we go through the Bible through a Bible reading.
Yeah.
It reads it to us.
Oh, wow.
There.
And that's
well
one.
Done.
That's one of the ones where you go through the Bible in a year.
Yep, exactly. Thank you. You remember that?
Well, I've heard that story. I think I heard that story one other time. Well, you're okay. So you're 97 now. You don't sound a day over 96. I'm 27, so I've been hearing this for 27 years. But
well,
but you don't read it straight through, right? There's different sections.
Probably we have another section of our Bibles are already sectioned from the number of years we've been doing it.
Right.
So we go. It's certainly, I would say, just brought over because they were going to have a sermon out of the airport. The military base also, and they had this guy-in country and Alaska. He has made a big sign. He has a convertible here. They wanted to ask if I'd go with him. So I said, sure. But that was canceled because of the problems. But now Linda's come up and put it up against a wall, and it's two large signs. It must be, I'd say, 2 feet wide and 2 feet up. And at the top of it, he's got it printed in there. This is professionally done. Lieutenant James Mather, pilot, World War II, 1942, 1945, F6F pilot. Then he's got a big colored picture on each one of those of a Hellcat coming down, F6F Hellcat.
Yeah. Grandpa, who is this that you're talking about?
Our neighbor across the street.
He made this for you?
Yes, he did.
Oh, wow.
He wanted me to be in his convertible.
Wow.
As they paraded at the airport when they had an enormous parade. I didn't know he was going to do that. I just thought he was asking me to be with him. But he had this on both sides of his car.
Oh, wow.
These big signs.
And so he knows that you flew the F6F Hellcat.
It was in color, and it is beautiful. I said, where in the world did you get those? And he said, well, I had them made.
Wow.
Now it's on my wall here. The Linda put them up. You can see they canceled everything, as you know. So I presume sometime in the future when he wants to do it again, we can take it off the wall and put it on the sides of his car for the parade.
Wow. Well, that's great. I happen to be wearing my wings on my hat right now. So I really appreciate your service to our country, Grandpa. I never get sick of saying that.
Because you're the one that served. I got served.
Yeah, well,
I never shot at anyone.
Well,
Shot at me that I know of. I didn't get into a battle with anybody. I didn't get overseas. But I had that asteroidectomy, that big hole behind my left ear.
Well, Grandpa, you joined the Navy in 1942. 1942. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of my history here. What was happening in the world during 1942? Let's see here. Let's see what was happening. Vietnam. It was Vietnam. Civil War. Civil War.
Good night. Was that? It was Japan.
Something with Japan and yeah, oh, that's right. Something with Japan. That's right. And you were active duty till 1945, is that right?
Try to get a job to handle my your grandmother.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm talking about when you're active duty. You were active duty.
So I stayed in the Navy, and every month I spent full days in Denver at the Navy base flying Hellcats.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when you were active duty from 1942 to
1945.
1945. I'm trying to remember what happened in 1945. That's when we won World War II. Is that right?
Okay.
So,
okay. And so I stayed
kind of my point.
I stayed in for combined.
Yes,
1942 for 17 years.
That's right. I remember that. You said that.
1 weekend a month.
17 years. Wow, that's that. Then you got out in 1959. Does that sound right?
I'd have to look. I would have to look at my
19. Well, I'm gonna have to do the math. I'm not doing the math very well. 42 to plus 17 is 59. So, who was president when you got out, Grandpa? Was it Eisenhower?
You know, Roosevelt was the first.
Yeah, Roosevelt. But when you got out,
I don't recall who was president at that time. I could easily look it up, but you can also.
Yeah, well, I know it was Eisenhower if you got out in the 50s, and it would have been Kennedy if you got out in the 60s. So I think it was Eisenhower. I remember having this conversation.
I did meet him once.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At a golf course where they were having a contest there, and I did get to meet him there.
Grandpa, every time I talk to you, I learn something new. So this is the first time I'm learning that you met President Eisenhower.
Yes. I tell you, I've been so blessed, Lucas. It's just I have no answer for it. Just to say, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
How you have blessed me, and He knows
that's right.
that I wanted to battle, and He brought about. I think I'm not sure about this, obviously. But I'm asking, did you bring on this problem of my operation? It took me out of the active duty for a couple of 3 months.
Yeah. Well, it might have kept It might have helped you to stay alive.
That's what I was wondering.
Possibly. There's a lot of heavy fighting at that time.
Yes, right. And right out of high school.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. You were right out of high school.
My graduation.
Wow, so you were commissioned as an officer right out of high school.
No.
Oh no, okay, sorry. Well, that's right.
The naval aviator.
The naval, but you came into training, President.
Mastectomy.
Yes, I remember that, Grandpa. So you graduated from high school in 1942. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you went right into naval aviator training
Yes.
and was commissioned as an officer probably in
After I had the mastoidectomy.
was that in 1943 or 44?
I don't. I'm sorry, Lucas. I'd have to get a calendar.
You keep wanting to talk about this master.
Actually, Grandpa, you don't need to look at the calendar. You just need to look at the commission that's on your desk from President Roosevelt. I have a picture of that somewhere that's got the date on it. Hold on a sec. Um, let me pause this.
Mastodectomy, I don't care about that. 3 or 44?
I'd have to get a calendar.
You keep wanting to talk about this mastoidectomy. I don't care about that. I want to know when you were commissioned. But I know it was a big surgery. Yeah. I think I remember it was 1940. I can't remember. But anyway.
Let me see.
But you were 19 or something?
Yes, I think it's 18 or 19.
No, I mean when you were commissioned, Grandpa.
Oh, no. I was probably 20 because I was in training.
You were probably 20. Okay.
Part of my training, and then they doubled the training when I came back after the mastoidectomy.
Well, Grandpa, when I was 20, I was a petty officer 3rd class. And I didn't even have my wings yet. So you beat me, that's for sure. You're an ensign at 20 years old. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no.
Are you looking for something right now, Grandpa?
Yes, I have a booklet that I have listed as to what.
I think it would say it on your presidential commission, the one that's from the president. That would say the date.
Well, I've got.
That's on your wall somewhere, I think.
Let me tell you what I've got right on the desk here.
Your voice is a little far from the receiver now.
Okay, yes. Because
there we go. That's better.
I picked up an 8.5 by 11 bound book. Goes on it says the Reagan record, 1967-1974 draft, and he gave that to me.
Wait, Grandpa, you have that book?
I have it.
That's what Nancy gave you, right?
Right, it's true. In their home.
Nancy Reagan.
Given me exposure to amazing list of people that I have no qualifications to have been.
Grandpa, your voice is a little far from the receiver, a little bit.
Okay, I was just looking through the leg, and this thing is.
Grandpa, I've never seen that book. I've heard you talk about it, but I've never seen it.
It's about close to a half an inch thick, and that's you know the story about when I was invited to their home for dinner, and sitting there as we're going to be repetitious here, and I said, I want to help. Just finished his. My first occasion was his first time as governor. When
Grandpa, just to be clear, you're talking about being invited to someone's home. What's the person's name again?
Let's back it up. When I was on speaking tour with your grandmother in California, and after I spoke, people want to come up and say nice things out of whether it's true or not. this tall, good-looking man came up and
A tall, good-looking man.
Yeah, and I said, and what is your occupation? He said, I'm Ronald Reagan's attorney. And I said, oh, I said, would you see him? Would you pass the word on to him for me? He said, yes. What would that be? And I said, tell him he's going to be president of the United States. And he paused. He said,
What year was that, Grandpa?
Do you believe that? And I said, yes, I believe that. That's what I'm telling you. He's going to be president.
Okay, so this is...
Oh, wow. So it went on for, he did his second term as governor.
That was when Reagan was governor.
Yes,
and his attorney came up to you and said something. Okay.
His first 4 years, in the second 4 years, and he finished that, and now
and you
he's
told
going to be heading toward a candidate for presidency. And he called, and I was invited to his home with he and Nancy to have dinner.
Where was that? Beverly Hills?
Yeah, a small home in Beverly Hills. Anyway,
small home in Beverly Hills.
That time, I said, I want to try to help you have, several locations in 37 states in Canada, but I don't know exactly what to use to try to help you become the president. She put her finger up in the air at the dinner table. Yeah. She had laryngitis.
When you say she, you mean Nancy Reagan.
Nancy.
I still have never seen that booklet, but you have it.
Half-inch thick draft of Reagan's record during 1967, 1974.
Don't throw that away, Grandpa. I wanna have it in my records when if you decide to give it to me. That is, I'll protect it because I don't want you to throw it away. Don't throw it away. That's really valuable. That's really valuable, Grandpa.
A copy of it now is at the Reagan Library.
I would imagine it would be, yeah.
Anyway,
but you may have the only other copy.
That's because they're for them.
Yeah. Grandpa, what year was that? Was that 1972? Do you think?
What are you saying?
Do you think that was 1972 that when you met in Beverly Hills? At their home?
At their home, probably afterwards. It had to be afterwards.
After?
Better later than 74 because on the front of this Reagan record
he was
1967 1974 draft.
Oh, anyway. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so he was not governor anymore.
No, he wasn't.
Okay,
but,
must be 1976, probably.
If I could, and that's when she got up and went in and brought this back out, and I just opened up about halfway through and saw everything listed in there as to all of the different
rebuttals to objections about his
the government of California, and I said, "This is what I'm looking for right now."
I'm glad you found that because I would like to see that when I come over next time.
I said, "Well, do you have a copy of that?" She said, "That one through him." She said, "It's yours."
Oh, that's nice.
The one I have here in front of me right now. That's what I've been looking at.
Can I ask you another question, Grandpa? And this probably would not have happened at dinner time. This probably not because did you have dinner there? Was it dinner?
Yes.
Okay, so you're having dinner. You probably didn't think to ask her to sign that book, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, see, that would be really nice to have that signature on there.
I should have had him sign it.
Well, even better, yeah. Both of them.
I'm just grateful that she gave it to me.
That's right. That's right. Well, she gave it to you, and that's true, even though there's no signature on it.
It says October 15th, 1979.
in your handwriting or hers?
Oh, it's typewritten.
Oh, typewritten. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Down the bottom says NB, whatever that means. An attempt to
No date.
be comprehensive, but of necessity, only the most significant actions can be listed. This is
Well, Grandpa, as you know, he lost that bid for the presidency in 1976. And
was that right?
Jimmy Carter became president. Remember? Remember Jimmy Carter beat Ford.
Reagan Library says here 1967 to 1974.
For that booklet, right?
The typewriter up on the top of the first page is telling me that this is October 15th, 1979. So that's pretty close to the time
Okay.
she gave it to me.
Okay. All right. So that means that Carter was already president and Reagan was running against Carter, and they used that booklet to beat Carter in that election in 1980, right?
Evidently.
Yeah.
The material dates.
That's really cool that you found that.
So
I'm looking.
That was my
your voice is a little far from the receiver, Grandpa. Sorry.
I said it's the second meeting that I had. My first one was a speaking engagement, and this was at his office in Sacramento.
Yeah, I remember that.
With his attorney, just the four of us.
Do you remember what his attorney's name was, Grandpa?
Lucas. I asked him when I was getting ready to leave, I said, would you mind, Governor Reagan, would you mind stepping around from your desk?
Grandpa, would you mind talking into the phone a little bit more? Sorry, I'm trying to hear you. You were saying about...
I said, would you stepping around your desk that we may hold hands together? And he said, oh, okay. He's come in, came around, and I said, why? And I said, because I want to pray for you, in your presidency.
Did he think that you wanted to hold his hand?
I don't know, but I did. And
well,
I think
it's Ronald Reagan, so.
Dottie held his other hand and his attorney. So anyway.
What was his attorney's name, Grandpa?
Oh, man. I should look that up again.
The tall, good-looking guy.
Yeah. And I can get that name because I obviously got it in my.
I know you have it somewhere.
Yeah.
You have it in a 5-star diary, probably. Or 7-star, I forget what it is.
A beat up, loosely, one of those office type notebooks. Anyway, I'm away from the phone again. So, I don't want to hold you up here, brother. But...
No, Grandpa, you never hold me up. But I really like hearing your voice. And like I said, I had just asked for prayer and you called. And as soon as I answered the phone, or actually I called you back because I didn't hear anything on the voicemail. And I called you back. And as soon as you knew it was me, you started singing in the phone, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I really appreciated that, Grandpa.
Let me see here if I happen to have. I've got it in here. April 1974, Sacramento.
April of what?
The first meeting with him, April 5th, 1974, Sacramento, at the Capitol Building.
Oh, sorry, Grandpa. Could you say that one more time? Your first meeting with Ronald Reagan was when?
His attorney made this arrangement and met with us, the four of us, April 5th, 1974, in his office, and we had to wait for him to get there, he said to be there by 8 o'clock in the morning, and Dottie and I were there, and that's when we met him in the office, and that's when I prayed for him.
April 5th,
April 5th, 1974.
74. And Grandpa, you have that in your diary? Is that how you know that, or do you just remember that?
You know,
You have that written down somewhere, right?
what?
You have that written down? Is that you're reading it somewhere from somewhere?
Yes, I'm trying to see what's correct here.
Okay.
This one down below. Oh, I see. This other one.
And you prayed for him to become president of the United States?
Okay, wait a minute. The 1974, the April 5th, 1974 was at his Capitol building with his attorney named Herb Ellingwood.
Herb Ellingwood.
Yes.
He was the tall, good-looking guy?
Personal attorney. He was a personal attorney, and he was the fourth one of us in the room.
Was he a Christian, Grandpa?
Then the next time when he had for the luncheon was November 1979, and they're home for dinner.
In November, what was the date? November what?
November 5.
November 5.
1979.
What day of the week was that, Grandpa?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
That it was 5 years, 7 months after I had the first meeting with him.
And you prayed for him to become president of the United States? Is that true at that time?
He had already been president.
You mean he had been governor?
Next was invited to his home for dinner. The other one was in his office.
Yeah.
And this one now was with dinner at his home on November 5th, 1979.
Yeah.
And
but Grandpa, he had not been president until 1980. 1981.
Okay, so
1981.
This was before he, when I'm talking to him, is when we're trying to help him become president.
That's right. That's great, Grandpa. That's wonderful history. I love that.
Like I say, I'm qualified. The Lord has put me in so many positions that I'm not really qualified to be.
Well,
I'm still looking here.
Maybe when you get up to heaven, God will tell you otherwise.
You just said, you dummy.
You dummy. I had you with Reagan that time, and well, Grandpa, you prayed for him to become president, and guess what? He became president. Have you ever let that sink in?
I prayed for that at the first meeting, April 5th, 1974. That's when I asked him to come around from behind his desk so we could hold hands and pray for his health, leadership, and that of the Heavenly Father would consider how this is written, him to serve as our country as president.
How did Herb Ellingwood feel about that prayer, do you think? His attorney.
I didn't ask either he or
you didn't ask permission. You asked forgiveness.
If I prayed.
Yeah. You just do it. Well, I've seen you pray for people crossing the street in the middle of the street, so I believe that. And I have seen that in Los Angeles. Somewhere, I can't remember where, but I remember that. But that's great, Grandpa. Well, I don't know what your mom put in the cereal when you were growing up, but
yes, and to know that I really didn't get to know a father.
Yeah.
I spent a week with him in the oil field. For the rest of the time, he was gone most of the time. He was a woman and drank and cursed and but I had a mother that was just an amazing woman.
She must have been an amazing woman if she raised kids during the Depression.
I used to sing even so, in the churches, high school and later. But I thought I was a Christian until that one time when Billy Graham came for a funeral at our big church.
Well, what's Billy Graham know about it? I mean, what does that guy know about being a Christian?
If you would like to receive the Lord, would you raise your hand? And this was full. They had not only the church and all of the chairs out, the crowds were, and the big church, many two-story classrooms all full. The high school down the street was full, and an area in the city, I don't recall what it was called, was filled with people because of Billy Graham.
Wow.
And so we were there, and we brought another couple with us. And when Billy Graham said, "Have you ever invited Jesus to the audience? Have you ever invited Jesus to be your Lord and Savior? If not, raise your hand." And I thought, man, I don't raise my hand. Everybody's eyes are supposed to be closed, but I thought they would hear my suit crinkle.
Right.
And I held off until he said, "It was the most important thing you'll ever do in your lifetime."
And this is Billy Graham saying this in your church, a Methodist church, in 1956. Is this right?
I don't know what. I don't recall right now. I have to look that up again.
And it was Dawson Trotman's funeral, right? It was Dawson Trotman's funeral. Is that right?
That's right. Dawson Trotman's funeral.
Founder of the Navigators.
I knew Dawson Trotman, and I was involved with the Navigators
in Colorado Springs. So this would have been the First Methodist Church of Colorado Springs, one of the largest churches in the country, right?
Yes.
Grandpa, you have a good memory.
Well, it didn't sound like it.
Well, hey, if I'm half as sharp as you, when I get to be 97, I'll consider that a life well lived for me.
I'll surprise you with a knowledge that I know about. Because I've never been as sharp as you are. Never.
I don't know. You learned how to fly those F6F Hellcats.
That was amazing.
Yeah, those are cool.
It's just really, I made a lot of
World War II fighter planes. Yeah, I love the sound of them. I mean, those engines, when they, I think I've only seen them in person maybe once or twice, but
the Hellcat?
Yeah, and I didn't really know how to. Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, mate. Thank God.
The wings came out of the middle.
I remember that. Yeah.
All the pressure keeps going up and down, up and down. That's because we're cranking the wheels up.
Oh, okay. And that was the one that landed on aircraft carriers? Was it the Hellcat that landed on aircraft carriers?
That was
Wildcat.
The Navy didn't have fighters that were ground fighters.
Oh, that's right.
They were for the water.
Excuse me.
So everything was
Everything was for the water. Yeah, that's right.
Carrying on multiple people.
Yeah.
But, it was a single seater also.
Right.
But everything was a landing on the ground. So every time, even when not aboard, you practice landing every time you come in for a landing, as if you're coming in on a carrier.
Every time you're practicing to come in on a carrier.
Yes. 3 to 4 knots above sailing speed, coming in, and you know where you live, head down, and about how far you'll roll.
And Grandpa, the planes you flew again were the F6F Hellcat, the Wildcat, the Bearcat. Let me see if I can remember.
Oh, good night, my golly.
Good night.
What was I trying to say? The dive bomber.
The dive bomber.
B-24.
Torpedo bomber?
Four engine. It's not coming to me.
Well, I have it written down somewhere, and I could maybe refresh your memory. Let's see here.
All the different kinds of planes I did fly.
I should probably have that written down somewhere.
So the main plane
Oh,
after the Wildcat was the Hellcat, and that's the one that I flew most of the time from there on.
let's see here. I'm gonna try searching Grandpa Navy. See what comes up. Okay. Hellcat. Grandpa Hell. See what comes up. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll just search Hellcat. Hellcat. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's see if this is right. I'll always like to double check. Oh, let's see. I thought it was in here. F6F Hellcat Corsairs. There has to be more. I remember writing more than that.
You know, something that I've got written here that you had asked a question about earlier that I did not remember. And this is...
Oh, a Piper Cub biplanes.
Piper Cub was the first one where I got my wings.
Okay.
Government wings.
Right.
And then you have the SNJ, and you have the Yellow Peril, the two-winged aircraft with the two cockpits outside, you know.
Okay, how about a Douglas dive bomber? Does that sound right?
Yes.
A torpedo bomber?
Beg pardon?
A torpedo bomber?
It could be that it could carry that.
Okay.
But it could also do the dive bombing.
All right, I found it. So, yep, okay. That's good. I just wanted to verify that, make sure I have that right.
This is Lucas.
Hi, how are you?
He's saying it's
doing
dinner time.
Yeah, and I'm calling your dad, Grandpa, to go upstairs because Rob is on a fire chat every evening.
You're talking about Rob McCoy, Pastor Rob McCoy of Godspeak Calvary Chapel? Yeah, I've watched a couple of those. Those are great. Oh, really? With Charlie Kirk? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Well, he's from our church. I've shaken hands with him and talked with him.
Okay.
Supposed to go speak, and then they had to cancel that. But yeah, he's had incredible David Barton on, and
Wow, I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Hewan, can't remember his first name.
Okay. Seems like there's always a doctor on.
You may even get Lucas Mather on.
Yeah, we should recommend.
Who am I?
When
I'm just some logic professor. Who cares what I think?
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, no, he's had some really good ones. Some of them, but most of them, I would say like 95% of them have been really interesting.
Oh, top-notch people.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, he has
And
Even with the
these
president.
are all available on YouTube, right?
What's that?
These are all available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Godspeak.
Like that, Jim.
You search Godspeak Calvary Chapel, and you'll be able to pull them up.
Yeah, go to Godspeak, and then it'll say live stream.
Yep.
Are you still there?
I hope so.
Oh, okay, because your grandpa's phone is beeping, the battery's going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to, press live stream, it'll take you straight to YouTube. And you can see the archives of who.
Will do. I'll definitely check out that Charlie Kirk one.
Oh yeah, that was great. Bit of a rough. Well, I'm over an hour and hey, but you're on my live. My live.
That young man,
he was amazing.
he is amazing.
Yeah.
And he has a book. He has a book written.
The Megadon.
Yeah, where is it?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. We each got one because you registered. You had to buy one for each person.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, mine's upstairs.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Grandpa, do you remember a book called God's Chaos Candidate?
What?
Do you remember a book called God? Okay, see you later.
What did you say the name of the book was?
It was called God's Chaos Candidate. Do you remember that book?
That doesn't sound familiar to me. No.
Well, you're the one that gave it to me.
Is that right?
You marked it up quite a bit.
Again?
God's Chaos Candidate. It's about Trump coming in. And it was called God's Chaos Candidate by Lance Wallnau.
What is the second word you said? God's what?
Chaos, as in, CHAOS, like chaos, like, destruction, chaos. You recall that book? I've had it the whole time. I've had it ever since you gave it to me in 2017. So I haven't given it back to you, but lost Grandpa. His battery went dead. All right. Well, every time I talk to him, I try to catch as many historical details as possible because sometimes it's hard to keep him on, it's hard to. So this is the kind of stuff I'm doing where I'll write down what he's telling me, and like one time he just started telling me about a crash landing he had in a field near Purdue University, and the farmer came out, and he'll tell me story. He'll just start like tonight. He told me for the first time that he met President Eisenhower. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Maybe I did before, and I just didn't register. But so now I have to, some other time I have to go back and try to get him back on that topic of when he met Eisenhower. What happened? What did he say? What was the context? So this is my Grandpa Mather. He's named after me. Yeah, that's him, and that was back in the 90s, I want to say. And that painting behind him is a Remington, which is the same painting I have right here. This was up in the cabin for in Grand Lake. And these are his Navy aviator wings. These are my Navy wings. They look a little different. Those are pilot wings. And these are aircrew wings, which is why it says AC, but Navy. So anyway, both Navy people. And that's my dad. And I have a picture of me. I still have to print that out. I have a picture of me as a baby being held by my mom, and that painting is on the wall in my grandpa's. So anyway, that was my grandpa. He called, and I thought I have to get this on video because he's 97 and he's going to tell some interesting stories. He always does. And he's going to sing songs, and he's going to quote Bible verses, and so welcome to my life. And he's been that way the entire time I've known him. And I met him when I was really young. My grandpa, I met him when I was a baby. So God bless, guys.
All righty. Well, that was a nice little journey documenting that conversation on Thursday, May 7th, 2020 at 5:52 p.m. on the LJM Facebook page. 506 views, 12 comments, 16 reactions from various people that most of them I've never met, but some of them I have. Wonder why she did the angry. She must have made a mistake on that. That's funny. Um, Angie, good old Ray, cousin Mary. That's my dad's cousin. That's the daughter of his sister, my grandpa's sister. No idea who this is. Marta. Well, anyway, what do we got
He
next?
said to be there.
Testing 1, 2,
June
3. Hey,
20th.
coming
Really?
at you live.
Really? I guess June 20th.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, coming at you live. I got some.
All right.
Well, I'm not gonna.
Okay, well, I'm going to end
Enter-
this. I'm going to end this now. Thanks for joining me on the Republican Professor.